Mazvita mai mangwandi, mufaro wangu pazuva ranhasi wekuti ndichingamidze Gogo Hungwe vabva kumhiri kwemakungwa uko kunyika yevangerengere kuEngland vari pakati pedu manhera ano. Tichiti Gogo Hungwe tinokuchingamidzai nemufaro mukuru. Kana tichikwanisa tese tikangovhura mawindo edu nekungounmuta just for 5 seconds dzekuti tichingamidze Gogo Hungwe tichiti Gogo Hungwe mauya.
Mauya.
Mazviita henyu ndokusiyirai nguva ino mutipe zvamatumwa nazvo. Mazviita.
Mazvita shwa ndokuchingamidzai mose muzita raBaba nereMurumbwana neremweya nera chingoti amen.
Amen.
Ndichifarirawo shuwa mawindo kuti avhuriwe. Munongoziva ndinoda zvokuona ndichionawo vanhu ndichiziva kuti ndikutaura nevanhu, asi shuwa ndinoti I feel very humbled kuti to be invited kuROI. This is my second time coming to ROI. Makambondiinvita ndikataura nenyaya yechildren and obeying their parents. Izvozvi mandidaidza zvakare. I think next time kana makuzotondidaidza anofunga muri kuramba muchingondipa masign ekuti ndofanira kutama ndiuye kuROI. Ndingazofara. Amen. Tichigara nemi. Mazvita handisi kuda kupedzerai nguva. Ndinoti ndine kwanisa kuzosharewo screen here mupiwawo mapowers ehost. Ndichipiwa mapowers yona ndenge chingoti pamusoro ishuwa mufundisi kana muri pano pamusoro imaimberi naBaba Chifungo malay leader. Mazvita ndinokutendai kuva pano. Ndoda kuti pamusoro kuna mai vangu mbuya Nyandoro vakanyorwa kunzi iPhone vari all the way kubva kuSouth Africa. Aiwa ndinokutendai. Kana paine vemhuri yangu vari pano pamusoro iyi, kana paine vekuLondon, hameno paine vekuLondon here vauyawo kuzondiperekedza shuwa pamusoro iyi. Ndiri kuona mhuri yangu iyo maitiana Hungwe vari kukumhorosai shuwa. Mazvita kuve pano nekuti ndo vanhu vacho ndauya kuzotaura nezvavo ivavo ndakareza muno muEngland. Sekundikumbira kwamakandiita. Hameno ndaane mapowers here ekushare screen.
Yes.
Okay. Hatisi kuda kumbononoka. Ndave kushare here. Makona screen yangu here.
Hatisati.
Kushare screen ndechipi. Oh, ndapaona share. Okay. In this document. Yes, I think makona screen yangu. Vaya vari mumawindo munogona kudzokera zvenyu mumawindo because handichanyanyi kutokuonai, asi kana muri kuonana ipapo muri kuonana ikoko ndoda kutenda Mwari. Topic yemakandipa ROI makanditi nditaure nezve raising children in the diaspora, biblical guidance. Ndakangona kuti pamusoro kuna mbuya Mutare, shuwa mbuya Mutare kuBristol uku. Ambuya wangu munovaziva pamusoro iyi. Ndinofara kuti ndakuonai muri pano. Nepamusoro yevaHungwe pamusoro iyi. Ndizvo zvatinofanira kuzivisa vana vedu. Vana vedu I think they are also looking forward to kuti vataure saizvozvi zvana pamusoro iyi. That is what our church is all about. Topic yangu ndisikapedza nguva is raising children in the diaspora. I'll be talking a lot about biblical guidance. I'll be talking a lot about explaining a bit about what it is all about. But my biblical guidance, the most important verse ndikufamba naro nderekuti discipline your son and he will give you rest. He will give you delight to your heart. Ndikufamba zvakare neProverbs 22 verse 6 yekuti train your children the way they should go, and when they grow they won't live by it. They won't live it. Saka discipline vadikani muno tichireza vana muno mu diaspora is whatever when it's done with love and wisdom, it is vital in guiding our children towards righteous living and bringing peace to the family. discipline is not just it's not about physical abuse. As Zimbabweans, we have got a wrong perspective yekufunga kuti we discipline our children by physically hitting them, because this is what we are used to. But kuwapa discipline, we discipline our children by giving them love and wisdom. That's the discipline iri enough kuti during raising our children in the diaspora. Proverbs 22 verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, even when he's old he will not depart from it. At this junction ndinoti ndapano ndakakumbira kuimba, pano makandionera here kuti vandiimbire kuROI uko family yevana. Is there any family?
Hunde vari pano.
Yes.
Mazvita regai tikumbire Josi Stole naLili Stole. Vachizoenderera pamberi pana Zvitanisha Murape, ndo vana vachaita present. Thank you.
Go on, go on. Well done, girls and boys and parents. Let's do it. Open your windows and show them how we do it. Ngawatange kuimba.
My Stole.
Okay, just give us 1 minute.
Wait, is it both me and Josie?
Yes.
No. This one. Okay. Okay. Go.
Ini mukangondidaidza chete ndinoita nevana.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. If anyone hear my voice, if anyone hear my voice, I will open, open, open the door and I come in. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock. If anyone hear my voice, if anyone hear my voice, I will open, open, open the door and I'll come in. Behold, behold, I stand at the door and knock, knock,
Well
knock.
done, well done, well done, well done. You see, to Bremer, open your windows and tell them, how was it? How did you do it? What happened? How did you do that? How come you've learned a song so quick in such a short time?
Oh.
Did mommy teach you the song?
Murora wangu yeye.
Yeah, yes, well done, well done. This is exactly what I'm saying. Training your child the way you should go, even when he's old, he will not depart by it. Ndikona mzukuru wangu Lane hapa, ndakamfundisa ukarye kako. Lane, hello. Yes, so it's like what we're talking about is like there are challenges. It's not easy to teach them, but you are teaching them, you are already building a foundation. And my mother got my challenges, and I'm sure I can overcome my challenges. And I can only say, well done, well done. This is exactly what I need to talk about. So who am I? In England, Gogo Hungwe. I'm a qualified social worker, the RRW member, the South Charge Children and Young People. I belong in the leadership team. The Ripa London, the full member, the married for 36 years. And the 5 adult children, 4 adult children in love, and another on the way. Nezuro, when I did this preparation, maybe in the beginning of the week, I had 5 grandchildren, but yesterday I had my 6 grandchildren. I had another grandson, so I had 6 grandchildren. and there's one still coming in the way. So I want to tell you guys, thank you. So I want to tell you that, guys, grandchildren are the crown of the age and the glory of their fathers. I also want you to show you the picture of, because we're talking about raising children in the diaspora, and sometimes when we talk, I don't want to just talk maybe without showing you exactly what we are talking about. When I'm saying, yes, it is possible to raise children in the diaspora, and I hope Andy Kanganuskine. You see, that is the family that I've raised in the diaspora. I'm not saying, I'm not saying I can do this better than anybody else, but I'm just saying this is how the Lord has placed me in the diaspora. 5 children, 5 my grandchildren, five children, my wives, my spouses are Chuya, coming from different areas, coming from different angles, coming from different countries. United Nations, and that's what raising children in diaspora is all about. I'm sure by just saying that, you all understand what I'm talking about. And we are happy. We are a happy family. We try by all means to be happy. I'm not saying I'm a better person, but this is what I've experienced. I've been in the country since 2005, and this is what I've experienced. And I'm just sharing this in case it helps somebody. So you can see that is the whole family. That I have raised in the diaspora. And it's like Takawaya 2005 and Newana 5, but that is how much we have grown as a family. And I'm hoping this will help somebody as well. Let me go next.
And forms a barrier for long-lasting relief.
So what am I talking about? I'm saying raising children is a challenge. But I'm also saying raising children in diaspora, in my unique challenges and opportunities. I'm sorry if I can mute the person who's talking.
tokumbira kuti vane magadgets asina kumutwa timute tinzwe zviri kutaurwa mazvita.
Yeah. Tine challenges etinawo ekuraisa vana, but kuwaraisa mu diaspora is even more challenging. And it's even more, most with those challenges, Christian parenting, raising children is a challenge. Raising them in the diaspora is even more challenging. Raising them as Christians, it's a double task. And it's like my expectations are over and above what any other normal family living in the same environment face. Let me stop sharing a little bit. Yes, challenges that we want to maintain our faith. We want to, like as Christians, we want to maintain our faith. We also want this cultural sensitivity. There's a different culture in this country, and it's like we need to be balancing the way we are embracing this culture. Children growing in the diaspora has always been referred. There was time that we're being given a lot of my lessons. It's always been referred as children living in a third culture environment. They are British, they are Zimbabweans, they are then British and Zimbabweans at the same time. So it's like one of the cultural sensitivity. And as parents, we need to embrace that. We need to understand those cultural sensitivity. There's also language barriers, which has been a major thing in our church. In that, yes, initially there's a language barrier, like they're trying to fit into the schools, they're trying to understand the language, and then later on they've also become a language barrier in church, in that they can't understand the language that we're talking about. And as parents, this is all what you'll be dealing with when you are raising up these children in the diaspora. And there's also moral and ethical teachings. In school, they are being taught different things about which is completely different from the way we believe and completely different from the way we look at things. But at home, we need to be making a balance. What is it? How are we? When I came into the country, my youngest daughter, we have just had a baby yesterday, anga 9 years. And kuchikoro vakatanga kunzi vane subject yavanoita inonzi PSHE yokuudzwa about sex education and stuff. To me, it was a shock because I just come into the country. And it's like when they approached me, they always ask for consent. And I said, no, my child cannot do that because at that time it was a culture shock. But these are some of the teachings. I had my fears, but what is it that my child will learn? But as we are in it and we need to enjoy it, we need to embrace that culture, but we just have to know. What I'm trying to tell you is just be aware of the things that are happening when you are raising your children in the diaspora. I would want to refer it as it's foreign, but yeah, when you're in that circumstance. There is also a challenge of a need to build some key aspects that are important is building a Christian community. Like the true Christians, we have to be thinking about that. We need to be thinking about prayer and trusting in the Lord. We need to be also putting all these things into perspective. We've been privileged to Southside recently. Our Reverend Tano has been telling us a lot about Susanna and Wesley's approach to parenting. Because it's like, I'm sure Susanna and Samuel Wesley, these are the parents, they are John and Charles Wesley that we know about. And it will be interesting to tell you that they had 19 children between them. And I've read some scriptures which says 10 survived. I've read some which said 11 survived. But amongst all those children that survived, their main emphasis, their particular emphasis was on discipline, education, spiritual development. And it was, especially the mom, her parenting was centered on the idea of order, discipline, and spiritual guidance. And this is why today, Charles, and John, who have actually become the cornerstone of the Methodist Church, and all these things about Methodism, which is another, well, it's something that we need another day to be talking about. So the impact of their parenting, they grew up with a deep sense of faith, intellectual curiosity, and commitment to service. Why am I telling you about Susanna and the husband, Samuel? I'm telling you about these people because it's like they grew up with the same challenges that we also are facing. It was these same challenges. It was a big family. The mom had to do certain things to inflict discipline into the children. I am told that Susanna would always tell Vanawake time to eat, time to go to sleep, that they should pray all the time, that the first thing that they should, when they wake up, everybody should pray in the morning. And it's like, this is why we've seen Kuti, their children also grew up to do something which is amazing. And it's like we are all what we are today as Christians because of the nature of parenting that these two people did when they parented their own children. Yes, before I go further, can I have a song from a teen? Did we prepare any song from a teen? Do you have any teen who prepared a song?
Tanisha Murape.
Tanisha Murape, can you do us a song?
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. all my days. I've been held in your hands from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head. Oh, I will sing for the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Of your voice, you have led me through fire. In the darkest night, you are close like no other. And the moment that I met you, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I've surrendered now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Wow, wow, wow,
Goodness is running
wow,
after,
wow,
it's running after me.
wow, wow.
I surrender now. I give
Why are we even talking about Susanna and Wesley? Namai Murape, who is our Susanna and Wesley of the day. Well done, Tanesha. I don't have anything that I'm going to tell you, Roy. You have your own. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
taimbirwa manje manje netwana twachimba behold, behold, I come at the door and knock, knock, knock. Yes, Tanesha has actually come with a beautiful music. Why am I even talking about Susanna? Because Susanna lived 1649, I think that's when she was born, or somewhere like that. So it's like parents, I'm just here to encourage you. 1 Peter 5 verse 8, to be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. If we don't nurture these things, if we don't do what we supposed to be doing as parents, all this talent will just go to waste. If we don't give these children the opportunity to show what they can do, if as parents we don't take our part in terms of in terms of parenting our children, if we're not careful of what the devil can do, this is when we keep talking about negative things towards our youth, towards our teens. I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying, you've just heard Tanashe. I just gave her a song and she has come beautifully. And so we are saying be alert and of sober mind. When you are raising children in the diaspora, be alert. We need to be protecting our children. We need to be there for our children. The Bible instructs parents to protect their children spiritually and emotionally, to be vigilant, to raise them with values that will protect them from harmful influences, such as the next thing that I'm going to be talking about. Helping children resist negative influences. If you can influence them in the way that you have done, Roy, we are so capable. We've got Tinetunu to do like I cannot even say more. Do not to you teens, Tanasha and all the teens that are here, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. You've got the talent, you've got the ability, you've got the parents. I'm talking to parents. I may seem to be like blaming them, but it's like these parents are here because they are giving their time to this program because they want to raise their children in the right way. They want to grow up to maintain their faith, like I said. They want to keep on doing things that they would have been doing if they were in their own country. And it's like with people like Tanasha, we won't go wrong. We've got amongst ourselves, as the mothers, we've got the Susannas, we've got the Samuels of our day, and we should be proud of it. And Roy, you should be proud of that because Tanasha just made an amazing presentation. I'll go to the next one. I've done this in a slide because it's like I tend to really go on and on if I'm not stopped. So the children, Tanasha and all the teens here, you have a role in supporting your parents. How do you perform this role? Exodus 20 verse 12 says, honor your father. Let me try to share again because I want you guys to really catch these verses. Are you seeing my? No, you're not. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Are you seeing the role of children in supporting parents?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. So it's like the role of children in supporting parents. Exodus 20 verse 12. Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. And also Proverbs 1 verse 8 to 9. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. So children as well, us as children, we also have a role to listen to these people. If Tanasha had not listened to her mom, if JSS, the two who sang earlier on, had not listened, if they'd answered back, if they'd said what, they wouldn't have been able to do this, what they did this evening tonight. And it's like we children, we also have a role in what we do, and also we have a role in honoring and supporting our parents, because our parents already, the fact that they're doing here, they go through a lot in terms of like they've got jobs, they've got children, they've got job, they've got you, they need to do the cooking. There are no maids to do the work. They have to do the cleaning, they have to do the washing, and they have to go to work. They've got so many other things to do. And it's like looking after you as teens, it's actually an additional role that is expected of them. And it's like to make it easy, we need to make it easy for our parents to be able to parent us in the way that they best wish to. And also it's like not for even for their own good now, but for your future as well. I hope I'm making sense. Is it making sense, or do I have to slow down a little bit? Hello, Mama Ngwandi, am I making any sense?
Yes, you are. Endererai pamberi, Mwazvita.
Thank you. So yeah, my next slide talks about encouraging children to support the family. That is that I've just spoken about. And the church has a role. I think there's something that I didn't talk about. I think it's in the... So the role of the church, the parents are doing their part, the children are doing their part. We've just heard Tanasha and the other in the two JSs. the parents are doing their part. The church is also a role to play. Because this is a part of Christian education. I've actually, when I was doing my research, I made sure that there's always a Bible verse on everything that I'm talking about. The role of the church, it says, the church and the wider community can provide essential support to parents and children, because the parents are doing their part and the children are doing their part. Fellowship, guidance, mentorship within the church can help children overcome the struggles they face in the diaspora. And this is why I'm not an expert in this, but you have invited me so that we can talk about it, because it's like, this is not something that is challenging one particular person. I also had my own challenges when I had my 5 children here, but it's like, there's been ways, there's been strategies that I've used and to overcome these challenges. And it's like, I wouldn't say I've overcome every challenge that have come to me, but the church has always been there to support. The church will always be there to support us. Inini ndikatora mwana wangu and I go to revival. Instead of you guys looking at my child, you cheat, no, there was, okay, I'll talk about it. The other day, church, now he's a grown man, married and a child, and a lovely child. Oh, my, when dear mwana wenyu uyu pane moya ni ADHD ndakatotanga kutonzwaona iye achimti ADHD but ndiyani ADHD, and I'm like, come on church, that's not your role. Your role is to be, let's support each other. We are not there to be like looking and then start talking about them and that's that one diagnosis. They would have been right, but it's I'm just saying the church has a role. So it's like, let's not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. It's coming to church. Let's not tire. Let's continue to go to church. Let's continue to take our children. Let's not leave our children at home when you go to church because there's a language barrier. Let them go and meet, because it's like in their team, in their age groups, they'll be able to come talk about things that that concerns them, even meeting, or even my teenagers. You may, some of you may I always expect kutikala mparent kind of church nemwana wake anogara naye kana achiziva, because you know your children. But I don't see anything wrong when my teens vachigara vese as teens. In the same way, so says RRW would want to say, I would want to sit beside in my samba, and we've got our things that we talk about, and we've got things that makes us happy, kind of feel such tower. In the same way, our teens, when they sit together, there are things that they talk about. When there's a language barrier, yes, they may the impact maybe they may make a little bit of noise. But if they come together and they're laughing together and they're being happy between themselves, this is why CYM from time to time, what we try. From time to time, we must give my programs out, but I'm sure from today you've also realized that I don't know how much whether Tanasha sings at churches. So Tanasha, do you sing at church all the time? Do you get the opportunity to sing and do something in church?
Yeah, usually.
Oh, lovely. You see, Tanasha usually do that. Tanasha is actually a role also to be encouraging the other teens. So I'm gonna Tanasha church a certain game.
Sorry, my Hungwe is
Tanisha. Sorry, Tanisha. I am terrible with names, Emma teens. You will forgive me for that. So if Mogana Tanisha doing something in church, like I said, like program in church. The fact that we are church and Tawia never navedu is really helpful in terms of raising children in the diaspora, because there will always be those challenges. The power of prayer and faith in raising children. James 5 verse 16. The prayer of the righteous person is powerful and effective. Mark 9 verse 29. This kind can come out only by prayer. There are certain things, which can only be helped by prayer. Let's not raise our voices too much. Let's not compete with our children in terms of like talking and shouting, but it's like sometimes it's like we need to go in a certain corner and pray. And it's like the good thing about our children, the really thing I like about Zimbabwean children, when they see their parents praying, they respect that and they will listen to you. Sometimes it's like go in your bedroom, pray, let them hear you are praying and you are praying for them. And it's like they will hear you praying for them and praying about them and praying about your life. And I know they're amazing children. Zimbabwe, a lot of people talk positively, including myself, and we should continue to talk positively about our children. So prayer is a key tool in raising children, especially in the diaspora. Through prayer, parents can seek guidance, strength, protection for their children, and praying together can foster unity in the family. So Mega also make time to pray together. I'll stop sharing for a while, and I need to talk to you about. There's another slide I need to talk about here. About drugs. I don't think I would have done justice if I don't talk about why it's important to bond and befriend our children. Can you see that? No? Why is it important to bond and befriend our children? Through prayer, through prayer. I'm sure I've stopped registering. Why is it important to bond and befriend our children? There are challenges in the diaspora. I need to talk about drug abuse. Exposure to drugs and peer pressure can be higher in this environment in the diaspora, particularly in unfamiliar or challenging socio-economic context. I will tell you that I work as a social worker. I work with young offenders, and it's like that is my daily, that's my job, my bread and butter. All the time, these are the children that I'm dealing with. And it's like my heart sinks. How much a lot of our children are being exploited into drugs and drug dealing. And it's like I really struggle because my drug dealers, they target those children who are of the lower socioeconomic context. They also target those children vari maybe ndikakubvunza kuti ndinobvunza vana ndosenza nawo nemaparents kuti what time are you supposed to be home? And my parents will be like, oh, during the weekdays he needs to be home by 10 o'clock, and during weekends at least by 12 midnight. And I'm thinking, school finishes at 3:30. Why is the child being expected to be home by 10 o'clock? What is he doing between the 3:30 and 10 o'clock? So these are some of the things that we need to be close to our children. We need to befriend our children. We need to be talking to our children. We need to be finding time for our children. We need to be giving rules and boundaries, like what I was talking about, like Tete Susanna, giving them boundaries in a friendly manner. Be friends to your children. Because to avoid all these things about exploitation of children, which have robbed this country, have wrecked this country, in that Bana in the end they end up in prison, and they end up even having a criminal record. And for the teens who are here, the advice that I can only give you is never accept free food from takeaways. Never get anything free. Never accept free trainers or free jackets or anything of value, because it's like you don't get those things for nothing. In this country, there is nothing for nothing. If somebody is giving you free, expensive goods, it's not for nothing. You will pay for it in the end. Because it's like they will start by attracting you to be friendly to them. And otanga kupa ma gifts, otanga kupa free food, otanga kupa even money. Yeah, no, you can have it. No, don't worry. Oh, and also you should be very careful. I don't know whether ROI has got that problem, but I know in England, particularly, there's a lot of my cafes, my fast foods. And they're always hanging around that. And this is where they are targeted. And this is where they get all these free things. And this is where they learn all these things about my drugs. And it's like, I'm sure the other teens who are here, they also know the other ways that they're being attracted into drug abuse. So you should be very careful. Even if, especially say if you have come from Zimbabwe and probably you might have fallen prey, because in Zimbabwe, I've also heard that my drugs are to Tanga. If you have probably tested drugs in Zimbabwe and coming into this country, I think it will be, coming to this country should be a time for you to stop. Because it's like there are opportunities in this country which are not in Zimbabwe. And it's like you shouldn't waste those opportunities, because when they are gone, they are gone. In this area, here in London, we see a lot of homeless people, a lot of drug addicts on the street, sleeping on the streets in the cold. Because when you are a child, it's much easier to because you still go back home. You can probably smoke here and there and still go back home to your parents. But there will come a time when your parents will not tolerate, will not take you in the house. Because especially when you get to 18 years, they have all the right to say, we cannot continue to live with you because you have gone into this habit. And you put the whole family at risk, and there's a lot of target. If you've been targeted and there's been some exploitation, you end up putting the whole family in a risk. Social media is another one. There is so much that is happening through social media. A lot of children are being groomed through social media. And it's like, as parents, you should actually know what your children are watching. This evening, I was listening to the news and they were talking about TikTok. America through TikTok, and now the parents are suing the American government. But that does not bring the child back. So parents, be very careful and check on what your children are watching. And children, please guard yourself against all these things that will make you end up control. Because as children, sometimes it's like you can be easily manipulated, you can be easily pulled by negative peer influence. But you also need to pray as well, in the same way that I'm talking about the children, the need for the children, for the parents to pray for their children all the time. Before I get to the last point when I'm talking about where I'll be talking about probably directing your children to the right path. Is there anybody who's with a burning question who might want to ask something at this stage, if I am making sense?
I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Gogo Hungwe. It is making a lot of sense. I just wanted to say there was something on the news about kuti vanhu vari kutsvaga basa, maybe kumapurisa or whatever, but they look at what you've been commenting on social media, what you mentioned on social media. Saka zveshuwa point yamataura ye-social media. I think a lot of people don't realize the impact. Pane vari kutoshaya mabasa because of some careless comments they made on social media. Saka it's not enough to create ghost accounts, just avoid those things totally. Thank you so much for Chidzidzo Biaong, where we are learning. Thank you very much for highlighting that.
Yes, the dangers of social media. And ndikuda kuti nditaure futi about drug, the exploitation, because it's like sometimes when you are in it becomes really difficult to come out of it. But I also want to tell parents and children here that especially here in England, there's a process which is called National Referral Mechanism, NRM, where you children who have been abused or who've been recruited into drug dealing or drug selling or drug supply can actually be referred to, and it's like the police is very helpful in that manner. So say in the event that probably it might have, if what I've said about drugs have affected anybody here, if your child has been like arrested because of drugs in any form or manner, it is not the end of the world, because I will assure you that in my job, at one time, I've actually retrieved one Zimbabwean boy who was all entangled in drug dealing, and he ended up in prison. And the way we had to work through it is I had to ask him to write a letter. Write a letter to your parent. If you think you are being groomed or you are being exploited, write a letter to your parent, because sometimes it's difficult for you to sit down with your parent and start talking about it. But you can write a letter to your parent, and your parent will know where else to take that letter to. And if anybody is here and if like their child is in that situation and they've written a letter, I'm always available to actually show you where to take the letter and how to process it and how to. I know in the Republic of Ireland there's something GAGA. I was trying to read about it, and your probation system is a little bit different from England, because England has got a young offenders and there's the probation. But I'm sure in the Republic of Ireland, you got something like prevention officers, which is quite similar to the one that we have in England. But this is something that is really destroying a lot of our children, and it's like Zimbabwean children are not being spared in this. So what I can say is, I'm thinking about the story of the prodigal son. Yes. I'm thinking about the story of the prodigal son. The prodigal son eventually came back home and was restored to his place in the family. So in the event that your son or your daughter has been like being wayward, when you talk about the prodigal son, I'm sure you all know the story of the prodigal son, where one of them asked his father for his share in the property. The father was a rich man, and then the younger son went to the dad and said, "Dad, give me my property because I want to go and spend it." And he went away. "I want to spend it before you die," or he probably gave an impression that he wanted to invest in it. So he went away, and then he spent all his property with the wrong people, and he ended up so broke that he was eating the food that the pigs were eating. And then at that stage, after several years, he came back to the father. So in the same way, if you guys have been not doing the right thing, you've been like answering back to your parents, you've been probably you've been answering back to your parents, or maybe you've been involved in some form of offending, it is not too late. That is how we should, here in the diaspora, the good thing about this developed country is that there is always a way of mending, and there's always a way of restoration. There's always, the doors are always open. Like there's a time when Jay says, Jesus is knocking at the door, and if you open your heart he will come in and he will save you from all these frustrations and emotions, in terms of due to the pressures that we face as we raise our children in this country. The prodigal son eventually came back home, and the prodigal son's breaking point became his turning point. It was when he was eating from when he's like, things have gone so bad for him, when he had not actually listened to his father, when he had not honored his parents, like what we're talking about, when he had not listened to the boundaries that his mother was telling him about, when he had not listened to his father, he ended up in such a situation that he was looking after pigs. So the prodigal, I will rise and go to my father. That's what he said. And I'll say to him, "Father, I've sinned." And because his father was a good parent, the father was a good parent with a rebellious child. But if that describes your situation, here are some kind of advice. Don't blame yourself and beat yourself up. Do not blame yourselves if you are going through any situation with your children because of what has happened. And children also, do not blame yourself of what is happening, because you still have a time to go back and and mend the bad ways that could probably have you found yourself caught up in. Keep your heart and your door open, parents, to your children. Keep your hearts and your door open. Because your children, I'm telling you, yes, they will make mistakes, but they will always want to come back home. And children, when you make mistakes also, you should also be prepared to come back home to your parents and talk to your parents. Be friends to your parents. Ask for some friendship. Write them a letter. In this country, like even the Queen, I hear he writes letters to his children. Yeah, he used to write letters, the Queen then. And it is also another way of opening up and breaking and breaking this whole cycle. All the arguments in the home, all the misunderstandings, you can still go back to your parents and say to them, I have sinned, Father, I have sinned, and please forgive me. You cannot save your children from the consequences of their actions, and you may not be able to lessen the pain that they are going through, but you can pray for your children. So in conclusion, and before I go into the conclusion, I don't know if I made any sense. Have you learned anything, or do you have any questions? Is there anything that you want me to clarify?
Mazvita Gogo Hungwe nechidzidzo chenyu. Aiwa, you are making a lot of sense. Sure, sevaROI tadzidza zvakawanda. Ini ndingori just one additional comment pamamuchitaura nyaya yekugurumwa kwevana paya paya kuti madrugs where they hang out kunodyiwa and so forth. Kuno kuRepublic of Ireland handizivi hangu vamwe pakati pedu kana tichizviziva kuti tine problem yatinayo yevanhu vanoita zvemoney laundering. So vanotageta like college students kana kuti vana pavanotanga paya vari first year ndo vanotageta ivavo nezvinhu zvingori flash vana vaya kana vabefriendwa nawo vochikumbirwa kuti voisirwa mari muaccounts mavo vachicleana dirty money. So itori problem yekuti vana vakawanda vanogara vatori in trouble nemagadha kunoko. So maybe vabereki kuzongokurudzirana kuti vana pavanoenda kumacollege toramba tichingomonita kuona kuti vana pari kutenga zvinhu kana even mwana akati ndine part time job kuzongoona kuti zviri kutengwa zvacho zviri kuwirirana here nemari yaari kuenda kubasa and so forth. So ingori comment yandachida kungowedzera Mazvita.
Yes, Mazvita, my question. Yes, that's all part of grooming. That's all part of exploitation. That's all part of when you see such a thing, especially if they are still under the age of 18. Sure, above 18 because university.
University kuno kuvana vanotanga vari vamwe vane 17 vamwe 18.
Yeah, you can still go through the NRM process, and you can still, and we still encourage your children kuti vaite come out, kuti vaite talk to the police, kuti vaite obviously vachimake sure kuti vari safe, because obviously there are consequences, but it's because it's also when the God we pray is we say we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. We can do all things. So as long as what we need to continue to do is let's catch them young. Let's catch them young before they even leave the house. They already know what type of values that the family have. They already know what they need to do. And they already know that my parents are in the right. And what I've realized with children also is like there'll come a time when they get excited and get carried away by all this. But as long as they have a foundation, as long as in the home parents are doing what you need to do, especially before when they are still young, especially if you start with starting with them driving JSS, you will be happy. They may go wayward for a little while, but it's like the prodigal son that I was talking about. They will always know where to go back, because there is always, my door is always open. And if anyone hears the voice of the Lord, if anyone hears the voice of their father, they know that they will always go back. But like I'm saying, like I've said, it is the NRM process. It's a very straightforward, it's a very thorough process, and your children will be saved in one way or another. I may also want to comment, especially for all the children also for those parents who are in the age of probably forming my relationships. Like I told you in the beginning, I'm not saying I know it all, but I'm also saying allow children to inipe ndakarorwa kumasvingo ndichibva kwaMutare. Vanhu vekumasvingo vakatoti kuroora all the way kwaMutare angashaya here vasikana munomu. But nekuti taigara kuHarare, ende takugara kuHarare, takusika tichigara muno muUK, ndokwatoo kuHarare kwedu. Varungu, vatema, maNigerians, maKongo, ndoko kwatoo kuHarare kwedu. Ende kana munhu wekumasvingo akaroora munhu wekumasvingo is fine. Munhu wekumasvingo akaroora munhu wekwaMutare, look at it in that same way. And all my marriages, if you look at them, they'll all be blessed. In the end, we don't want to create as Zimbabwe to create kuti vana vedu vave imprisoned. We maintain the values of Kristo. We maintain but kurambidza mwana my relationship is something maybe probably mfundisi vanganogona kuzondibatsira. We have to do it up to a certain level. That's what I can only say. I don't know whether anybody any comment about that.
Pamsoroi, thank you very much, my sister. We came to ROI as a panel, as family, to present. I just want to add something. Thank you, Pamsoroi Mfundis. Pamataura nezve befriending your children, really very important. Ukanzwisana nevana wako, I know kuti pavanozokura nezvavanozoita usipo, it's not your responsibility, but you be responsible. Sekutaura kwamaita kubva kuna Proverbs. Vana pavanoenda kuma university vakubva pamba, they will be so excited kuti vanenge vakuita independence vachiita zvavanoda. But you have my standards. I'm not saying I'm the best, but what worked for me, zvazosvika kuti ndizoti mbuya Hungwe my sister. Takataurirana mwana achibva pano kuti ukabva kuuniversity kwandaenda kokusiya, takaenda komusiya pachikoro pacho. Uchabuda muno uchienda kuchikoro. Kana wakubuda muno uchienda kuchechi, that's fine, that's a routine. Asi kana wakubuda uchienda somewhere, I need to know. And I need to know kuti uri kuenda nani. And I need to know kuti wasimuka nguwai pano. And wasvika nguwai kwawaenda. Zvawaenda koita ikoko handina hangu detail nazvo. Ndakusimuka kudzokera kumba. That is very, very important. Nekuti zvinozotibatsira kuti uzive kuti mwana anozonzi arasika kana kuti atakwa. Uri kuziva kuti ari papi. And iyena zvinobva zvamupa control kuti hey, last week ndakataurira mama kuti ndiri kuenda kuManchester. This week ndoataurira futi kuti ndiri kuenda kuNorwich. Zvinomupawo control. And hazvingotangirwi nekuti akuenda kuuniversity, hustati vachiri vadiki kuti zviite sense. Paanenge akuzoenda uko zvatorwa naProverbs wepe zvinenge zvaane machisense. And kana maita befriend anotosununguka. Mama, ndikuenda kwakati. Iye azoenda kwaHungwe aitaura ndikuenda kuMiu, ndikuenda naFadzira Tino. And I was like, Tino ndiani? Tukaenda kuMiu naFadzira Tino, tukaenda kuYouth naFadzira Tino, kuzosvika ndopati aripo papa. Be open. Asi zvimwe zvacho ukabata matomu uchihanisa uchidzosera mashure, but kana muine ka relationship kamunako kakatanga kure, it will make sense. So it's very important to befriend your children. They will tell you where they are going. They will tell you what they are going through. They will tell you. Majita.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sister. I've also have my daughter Rumbi here. And my other daughter from my sister, she's there, she's here. Do you have something to say? maybe some confession to make, or maybe some frustration to vent.
Thank you very much, Mama, for the opportunity to speak. Maradiva Nekuroi, I'm sorry for this. Thank you very much for the talk. Tato did a lot from this. I just wanted to add another thing that I am finding very challenging as a young parent. It's about social media. Some people might think, and I tell them, yeah, social media, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and whatnot. My issue is YouTube. There is a lot of things on YouTube. If you actually pay attention to what your kids are watching on YouTube, even those it's for kids, try and pay attention to some of the things. Because recently I was listening to what Tiana was watching, and I panicked because it was meant for kids, but what they were talking about was not for her age. And that is a struggle that I think a lot of parents are facing. So we need to monitor what our kids are doing. Pama gadgets, power. She's not age yet, TikTok, no Facebook, but YouTube is actually becoming a big issue. And children, they're being groomed using my videos. Really using kids. Vamwe vana vari kutoshandiswa to groom your children without your knowledge in the name of child YouTube account. So we need to actually pay attention to what they're doing. So one thing that I've learned that I'll share with you that I heard from someone else was to link your YouTube account, Yako, and create a child's page that allows you to monitor whatever they're watching, and that page screens everything they're watching. So Nyangwa kaona something, I'm able to go back to the account and revisit it. If I'm not sure about that, I can then listen to it. And resort to it. I say, if I'm not happy with it, I can block that. So she won't have access to that. So we need to pay attention to that. Then I also had Nyayema phones at no power na wachenda kuchukoro wachifamba bese. There was a story about an app, Shandi Squad. It doesn't need a number. But if I have the app and you have the app, we can connect together without having a phone number. Unfortunately, that app is available to anyone. I mean, anyone of any age. And using that app, people are actually talking to younger kids inappropriately. So we need to make sure kana mwanane phone, try and make it a habit of, I'm not saying spy on them, but I mean, you need to protect them. So it's up to you what level you do that to. And the transparency Nemana is also important. I'm doing this for your own safety. I need to make sure you're safe, because I've heard of many stories using that app, inappropriate pictures, inappropriate conversations. So we need to actually be very vigilant about social media. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah, thank you. This is what I was talking about, like the opportunities that are in this country, because it's like we do have the money, we do have change my phone every 2 years, and we do have the resources actually, and we now have access to those phones. And because they've got those accesses, these are the challenges that we need to embrace when we are raising our children in here. Akasunza roko ndimaitsambuka here before mbataura. Mama Tamba, yes.
Thank you, Gogo. Taivati Gogo vazukuru 5, so zvikufara kuti magogo vazukuru 6 makorokoto. Ine ndangoyo neimwe itori, it's raising the children as well. Ndiri kuda kuti tionewo chidzidzo pamadzimai 2 ataura, mai Mutare namai Hungwe. There's something that I actually envied about these women of God, vachikura vese vachisangana mu diaspora, and they were close from kungowirirana nekutamba vese, and zvakabatsira ndizvo here mbuya Hungwe namai Mutare. Zvakabatsira kuti vana vavo vakaroorana, vana vavo vakachata. Ini muroi tingatozvitadzawo shuwa.
Takatanga vana kuroorana, then isusu kubva tazoputwa nawo, which is the same.
So it is something that I have I've actually admire. I followed it and ndichingozivana nemi, but separately mai mutare vamwe vasina vatanga kutaura mai mutare mavanzwa vachikomenda vachiti we are now sisters. Ndana mukurunga ipapapa zvakaitira muUK. So let's tap with the anointment vadikani. Muno muroi zvinotoitikawo tikawirirana tikatamba tese tinotoomberana apa tikatoita michato. Thank you so much for being inspirational, Mai Hungwe na Mai Mtare. That alone zvatirakidza ushamwari hwenyu kuti mudikani ndakokwa kunoparidzwa kunodzidzisa ambuya naamkurungai naamkurungai kwakuperekedzana. Well done, well done. Makorokoto, it takes the whole village to raise a child, but imimi zvakakusvitsai kuti vana vakawanana. Makorokoto tinozvidawo izvozvizvi. That's our prayer. Mazvita.
Thank you. Tinoramba tichizvinamatira.
Yes. And it also brings out the more, it's like tiri mu diaspora muna vana vedu varoorana. Let's be friends. Whether taroorana mugombuya Mutare na Gogo Hungwe vanotaura Shona, ndaroorana inini na Gogo izvozvi na Gogo LH vanoti vekukune vanotaura imwe language. Let's have this bond. And also it's like dzataura maitsambwa zviritori extra like yes, let's do things neta kuti vana vedu vaadmire kujoinana vachipinda into our families and we work together like that. Rumbi?
Pamusoro taura hako Rumbi, taura hako. Ndangojambirawo ndati handimbo tingobatsirane, but Rumbi chimbotaura hako. Thank you.
Sorry vadikani, ndiri kukumbira muzotiwo gwa nguva dzedu dzaenda, kune wakutonditextira kuno kuti time keeping Mazvita.
Yakula kuti topinda mukunamata manje Mazvita.
Oh yes, ndoda kungopa kutenda kune ROI yasimudza mbuya Hungwe, Gogo Hungwe. Mai vangu, she's a very inspiring person even to me. She raises a family, she's a strong woman, and what you're doing is zvakanaka kuti you've been working hard ever since I've known you, which is all of my life, to keep the family together. You always encouraged us kuti tive vana vakabatana. You always encouraged us kuti tikanetsana tokwanisa kunetsana asi tofanira kuve vana vakabatana. At the end of the day, we have to come together, we have to support each other, we have to look after our brother, and the brother has to look after the sister, and we should always stick together. We shouldn't let anyone down. We should always tackle my challenges in life tese takabatana, nekuti in a way God has given us a lifelong friend in each other. Saka zvakangonaka izvozvo, and mnogara mchingoti kurudzira, and also open line of communication yamaiti pafuti. If we have anything tiri kutinetsa zvabasa kuti tine makore mangani, you always have that open line of communication yekuti aiwa usanetseka wega, go to your kwasotaura nesu. So I'm encouraging yes, my youth are panapa, and vana vari panapa, and my parents kuti always keep that line of communication open, to encourage growth and togetherness mumuri. And yeah,
thank you very much Rumbi. I'm sure maona kuti kwa Hungwe kana tikatanga it's like tinosvika pa midnight. Maicho domune something quickly here.
Very maybe 1 or 2 words. Mazvita Gogo Hungwe, ndakaitawo rombo rekusongana neThe Hungwe and the Mutare families. Handiko kwandoda kuenda, ndiroda kutendai. Ndatenda ndoda kutenda. Ndikuda kutaura panyaya yekuenda kusleep over. Munataurira wana nenyaya dzekusleep over, and you must know kuti modrop mewana wenyu mune mbatya dzirimo imomo ndimakadzitenga here. Kana aine mbatya dzamusingazivi akadziona kupi. Kana eji yewana waine kana auti kwavanenge vari kuenda, wedha kubhora kana chii, perekedzai wana muchiona kuti masiya, kana paina youth worker masiya youth worker wacho mamuziva woti uyu ndiyo newana. In case of tomorrow, if anything happens, munoziva kwekunanga muchidini muchienda nekunovapika time kana iripo, kuenda unopika wana wenyu nekunodropa wana wenyu. Mazvita.
Mazvita maichodo mazvita Roy. In conclusion, raising children in the diaspora inoda patience, inoda vigilance, inoda adherence to biblical principles, and also guiding children with love, protecting them from harmful influences, fostering mutual support within the family. We can navigate the unique challenges of living away from home while staying grounded in faith. Zvinoita chete zvakadaro. I'm sure Matonot, maybe we need more time to talk about this. It's a very important topic to talk about. I cannot talk about this topic. Ndingori one, we need to include each other. We need to make sure that I get this response. But in conclusion, thank you very much. Ndokokusira verse rekuna Philippians 4 verse 13 ichiti, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. At this juncture, ndinoda kutenda myself for kunditeerera. I hope I've made a lot of sense. I have kana paine vanoda kuita individual kubvunza, you can munogona kundibvunza kuinbox kwangu zvindokwanisa kuita ndinokubatsirai. I've worked in this country in the social services and children's services and youth offending service since 2005, since 2007, and yeah, well, we can always share notes. And this is zvose asi ndokutendai. I feel humbled kuti makaona zvakakodzera kuti nditaure nemi pamusoro penyaya iyi. Mazvita ndinodzosera nguva kune vandipa, maybe mufundisi wachazotinamatira kune vana kuti vatigaidhe nekunamatira maparents in this journey yetinayo tiri muno mudiaspora. Mazvita nekundipa nguva.
Mwazvita Gogo Hungwe, wadikani ndibatsireiwo kuvhura mahwindo titende Gogo Hungwe netimu yawo nekuti tichakwakadai. Wadikani mwazvita vanoridza mhuru vaembera.
Thank you.
Regai ndikutendei Gogo Hungwe netimu yenyu, ndichitenda JSS, Josina, Lily, ndichitenda Tanisha such a teaching yamoyo nayo, a very very helpful and eye-opening teaching. Munguva dzinonongoti anenzeve dzekunzwa vana John nana Suzana vanhasi. Ngative mashamwari kuwana wedu, tikaita mashamwari zvinoendeka nekuramba tiri paminamato. Nguva dzino regai ndikumbire anotipawo munamato wekuvhara iyoyi teaching. Ndichakumbira akasununguka, regai nditi maitsambwa mutipawo munamato. Mazvita, over to you maitsambwa.
Mazvita mama, tinamate. Kuna Mwari wedu wakanaka wakatendeka muzita raJesu. Tiri kuuya pamberi pechigaro chenyu Mwari, tinoda kukutendai mutsvene. Patanga tiri kuona topiki tanga tiri kushaya kuti vari kuda kutaura kuti iko Gogo Hungwe. Tadzidza baba, tabatikana, tatsiurwa, mumwe macho tagadziriswa, pataiomesera vana tichifunga kuti ndokugona. Imimi manga muri kutaura mukati, aiwa, be a friend to your child Mwari. Tinokunamatai, tinokutendai. Mwana nyanga ari kutaura kati it's not easy. Asanga ari kutaura kuti naJesu zvinoita. Zvino Mwari tiri kutipindirai. Tanga tiri kuona vari kutirakidza even the example from her own family baba. Tinozvitenda mutsvene. Tinoda kukupai mbiri Mwari. Tinoda kukupai mbiri. Tinoona Gogo Hungwe vachimirira vana vese vemission area Jehovah. Tavaona results acho, fruits acho Mwari. Tibatsirei Mwari, tibatsirei. Dzimwe dzenguva dzimwe shamu dzatiri kurohwa pamusana pekuti takashira hanya vana vevamwe vanhu mutsvene kuti Mwari neveshamu idzi dzikatanga kudzoka kwatiri. Zvino tiri kuti Mwari chitiitireiwo zvakanaka. Tinounza vana vedu mumaoko enyu. Tine vamwe vari kupumhuka asi tinotenda maunza dzidziso kuti we should never give up on our children. Kune nemalines avanga vari kutidzidzisa kuti you can still approach kunobatsirwa nevana venyu. Mwari mazviita. mazviita changamire. Mbiri yese todzosera kwamuri nekuti makakodzerwa nekunamatwa. We will never be the same again. Ticharamba tiri kungoitirwa zvakanaka nekuti tadzidza. Zita renyu tosimudza pamusoro-soro. Tanga tiri kutaura tinozvidawo, tinovadawo vazukuru, tinodawo varoora vanozouyawo vachifamba nesu kwatinenge tiri kutaura, tichiopupura kuti ndimwari vakatigonesa mudiaspora. Munonzi nevanhu it can't, but imi mazvirakidza kuti it can, nemuzita nemuropa raJesu. Ropafadzai munhu wese ari pano Mwari, ropafadzai namusandiri wedu namai, ropafadzai murekwa Hungwe netimu reshamwari dzavo dzese dzavauya nadzo kusiya zvavo kuya kunobatawo neROI. Mazvita Mwari, tinopetudza nguva ino tichidzosera mbiri yese kwamuri nekuti makakodzerwa nekunamatwa. Tinokunamatai tiri muzita raBaba, reMwanakomana neremweya anoera. Amen.
Amen, amen. Mwazvita maitsambwa nemunamato, mwazvita vadikani nekutivirira. Nguva dzino regai ndidzorere kune vandipa vachizopawo malay leaders kana vaine macomments, ozoti musandiri wozotibharira. Mwazvita, over to you watipawo nguva. Kana pasina, over to you Magosa.
Mazvita mai mangwandi esa kumagosa atina edu zviziviso kunze kwekungotenda Gogo Hungwe nevese vavaperekedza kuti vauye pano nechidzidziso chavatipa chanhasi chakanakisisa chose. Ndovimba mumwe nemumwe wedu ari pano ane zvaabatawo. Gogo Hungwe muitirwe zvakanaka nedenga, tinokutendai chose. Regai ndisiye nguva ino kuna musandiri. Mazvita.
Mazvita tokutenda Mwari hama dzangu nechidzidzo chauya kunesu usiku uno through Gogo Hungwe. Mwari akuitire zvakanaka. Sure, you ministered to us. Mumpacho musati mataura kungona the whole family iri kuuya ichita minister with you. Tatoona definition yefamily yakanaka kunesu. Thank you so much for the wisdom. Thank you so much for the research. Thank you so much for God kukushandisai semhuri. Mwari akuitire zvakanaka. Tinoramba tichingokutendai, munotiita zvakanaka in our church. Kwachandatofunda midweek prayers anaya, they only fit for a sermon, but for a teaching haakwani, because teaching tonga tine mibvunzo yakawanda nekuda kucontribute here but because of time zvinoguma zvakunga a ritual kuti tizongoteka mabox taita chidzidzo. Otherwise we would go on and on tichida kudzidza zvakapinda kunaka. So tinokuzwisisai sure kuti hatinokopedza, it's okay, because this is a lesson, it's a Christian education. Itatine mibvunzo nemacontributions akawanda, but because of time couldn't do it. So dotenda Mwari for this time, Christian education dokutendai. Mwari akuitire zvakanaka. For everyone who was here, participated, those who were singing and praying behind the scene, may God bless you. Regai namate. Baba wakudenga tokutendai manheru ano. For this teaching, we have seen you through Mbuya Hungwe and their family, oh God. We have seen the wisdom in her. Mataura kunesu zvakanyanya, mukatitsiura, mukatipangidzira all the troubles that we face as parents. Ndokukutendai Jehovah nekuti you are always with us. We thank you for this lesson and for helping us learn new things. Please, God, help us to remember and use what we have learned in a good way. Help us all to be kind and wise and loving to others. Musokorenyu Mwari munotombotaura kuti your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Tinongona matira Mwari wekudenga kuti wana wedu hawa Mwari, your word inoramba chingowagaita in all the difficult times they face, Baba. Nyaya dzekumacollege, nyaya dzeracism, nyaya dzesuccess yawo Mwari, your word may it guide them. Ratazwa panapa Mwari, it was your word. Lokukutendai Mwari, please guide every one of us every day. Wana wese wepaROI tinowanamatira, tichiwasuma kunemi kuti wakure mukukuziwai. Soko renyu ranga riri kutaurwa ndimai Hungwe rekuti I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Ngaribate kunyangwe nekumaparents Mwari, petiri mastewards, oh God, some of the things are so hard kurera wana awa Mwari. Asi tinongonamata kuti mimi munotipa simba, we can do everything. Kunyange wana wakaita madrugs, we can do anything, we can do everything to help them, oh God. Kunyange zvatinonamatira zvikaramba, we will have strength that comes from you. vana vedu kunyange vakasangana nezvinorema in their way kumacollege, kumaskuru, and all areas of their life, oh God. Tell them all the time, may your word ring in their minds, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Help us, oh God, to trust in your word and trust in you in everything. We thank you, God. Msarababa, mwanakomana nerema unoera. Amen.
Ndiri mwazvita musandiri mwazvita vadikani vari kufamba mangwana anofamba zvakanaka. Toonana mangwana pamidnight mazvita.
Ndine PowerPoint yandichatumira kuvakuru venyu about this presentation. Then ine maverses